Welcome everyone to another episode of Dan and Tony Sports. It's that day again, Tuesday. It's that time again, 7:15. We're gonna have ourselves a good show tonight, gentlemen. That was a change up of an intro. I think I liked that.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Way to go.
I'll keep working on that. I was trying to think of something different. What's not going to be different is I'm joined by Tony, Dan Beebe. Dan O'Shea is going to be a little bit late. So we're going to talk college football, week 2.
Yep.
We're going to talk NFL, week 1. We're going to talk some Twitter, I'm sure, and a ton of other stuff. But we're going to start the show like we do every week with our pigskin poetry. Ryan Fitzpatrick, OMG. Will he be the starter all year? He may just be. That dude was insane and looked in his prime. What he did to the Saints should be considered a crime. 4 passing TDs and then 1 on the ground. Huge win against New Orleans and passing yards abound. What is your secret? To hide it would be tragic. Is it just how you work out, or is it just Fitz magic? You played like a king and you looked like a god. You're completely electric, a crazy lightning rod. But maybe we're overreacting, and this won't be the norm. But regardless of the next game, you made football porn. So keep up the good work and just focus on the task. Otherwise, a great defense will come and kick your ass. Yeah.
It's fair.
It's the truth. Ryan Fitzpatrick looked absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah.
He outdueled Drew Brees.
Well, which is kind of what you have to do when that situation arises, because that's kind of how the New Orleans Saints have been for the better part of a decade. Oh, we're just going to put up more points than you. Let's see if you can keep up. And I don't think anybody thought that Fitzpatrick was going to do what he did. But that being said, this is almost typical for Fitzpatrick because he's on a 1-year deal again for $3 million or whatever it is, and this is his MO. He gets a chance on a 1-year deal. He looks like a freaking superstar.
And he gets a big
paid,
contract.
and then he's like, "Nah, I'm good."
What does he do with all that money? I need more money from beard oil.
Invests it. That's what he does. Went to Harvard. He's not an idiot. He knows when to play well and when to be just average enough so that he can go back to being the backup like Blue Mountain State. That's what he's doing. He's Blue Mountain Stating us. That's what he does. He Blue Mountain States us. He comes in, looks amazing, and then wants to be Alex Moran again once he gets paid.
It's like Kyle Orton, right?
Kind of.
Yeah, Kyle Orton would just show up, play well, get a big contract, and then just leave the bathroom and never come back.
He'd be like, "Yeah, I'm just kidding."
Jesus Christ. Oh, man.
But this is typical Fitzpatrick.
Typical Ryan Fitzpatrick.
And for him to do this week 1 shouldn't have been a surprise to me, yet it was.
I mean, I'm just going to touch on what you were saying. If a reporter asks the New Orleans Saints, "Oh man, you're playing a tough opponent. You're playing the Minnesota Vikings. You're playing the Panthers. What are you going to do to beat them?" "Oh, we're going to score more points. We're going to throw for 900 yards. We're going to run for 600, and we're going to end up beating them by 2 points." That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't play any defense.
No, but sadly their defense was actually pretty good last year. And they've crashed to reality over the shattering of that facade by Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Well, let me ask you, though, the reason could that have been that last year they went with 2 different running backs, Alvin Kamara being your home run hitter, Mark Ingram being your, I'm going to grind it out, I'm going to run down your throat, I'm only going to get 6 yards, but it's going to keep your defense honest, it's going to keep you on your heels, and it's going to wear you down. So they were eating more of the game clock because they were going with both Ingram and Kamara?
Maybe. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, you will get Ingram back in 4 games, so it's not like, or 3 more games, so it's not like that's going to be a drastic change. But New Orleans, I think New Orleans undervalued the talent that was available in Tampa. Not necessarily Fitzpatrick, but they still have Deshaun Jackson, they still have Mike Evans, and they didn't take them seriously and they paid for it. Because New Orleans had their weapons did do well. Kamara had a great game, so did Michael Thomas. Drew Brees threw for a ton of yards.
Did Michael Thomas get like 42 fantasy points or something like that?
Yeah, he blew up. So it's not like New Orleans. I don't think New Orleans was ready to get into a dogfight with Tampa. I think they walked into that game thinking, okay, we should have this wrapped up by the first half. And then when that didn't happen, they were like, oh, crap.
Because I completely expected the Saints to win by 21-28.
So did I. I mean, without Jameis Winston, I don't know even with Jameis Winston that they're that good that they showed on Sunday. I really don't think they're that good for the rest of the season. Maybe it's just I personally think it was just the defense felt like they could take a week off because they felt like this was going to be an easy one. And they did not give another NFL team
the respect
that they were due for being an NFL team, and they got caught flat-footed a little bit, and then they had to try and figure it out. But by the time they tried to do that, it was a little too late.
Yeah, I mean,
Breeze and them tried to keep him in it. They really did. I mean, they tried to answer shot for shot with them, but
Drew Brees is just a little engine that could, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Dude doesn't stop.
Oh man, but no, and we're gonna get into it a little bit more later on in the show because we start with college. We're gonna finish with the NFL, so we're gonna go through the scores and everything. But I just super impressed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a whole, not just Ryan Fitzpatrick, because those 4 touchdowns, someone had to catch them. So obviously the receivers were playing well. The blocking had to be at least good enough for old-ass Fitzpatrick and his crusty beard to get around.
True. I am most impressed with Fitzpatrick because the dude's like the ageless wonder. He never seems to go away.
15 years?
Never seems to go away. And just when you're like, oh, yeah, he's still on a team? I didn't remember that. Oh,
Boom!
Hell.
Kills you.
Yeah. It's like, oh, no, there's a reminder.
He's like that grandfather that steals your girlfriend.
I guess so.
I don't
know where that came from, but I mean, it's getting to that point because every time I'm like, oh, he's been retired for 3 years. Nope.
Nope. Here he is dropping dimes into the hands of Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson,
and just bad secondary coverage.
Oh,
like they were
awful.
Wide open. And Fitzpatrick was just like, oh, flick, and there's a touchdown.
And there's another touchdown.
Seriously, it was brutal.
It was. But
that being said, it was a good dogfight.
It was.
We'll get into the other ones that were not dogfights.
If you like to avoid defense at all costs, this was your game.
Oh, yeah. No, this was... You thought the Big 12 only played on Saturdays.
Yeah. Defense wins championships, hold my beer.
Yeah. All right, sure.
Oh, man. Oh, college football. Is there anything better than college football?
I'd be hard-pressed to find something. I mean, it's a great way to spend a Saturday.
Oh, man. How I spend my Saturdays usually. Oh, I wake up pretty early, get some kind of food in the crock pot. The last time it was pulled chicken. Last week I made chicken wings. Didn't do anything in the crock pot because I'm poor at planning. But I had myself some chicken wings. Delicious. By the way, if you've never had Sweet Baby Ray's maple barbecue sauce, it's a thing and it's delicious.
It's a thing and it's delicious, and I highly recommend it.
I highly recommend it.
That's great.
But it's...
That's the way to go.
Yes.
I don't wake up early.
Oh, I go back to sleep.
Oh,
I just put stuff in the crock pot.
And then go to bed.
And then go back to bed, yeah. Yeah. And then I'd sit my ass on a couch. I set up the laptop, set up the phone, set up the TV, got 3 games going at once.
It's a good way to go about it. I have them all on with the cable. I just push the up button, and it brings me all of the things I've previously watched, so I just line the games up that are available on television, so anytime there's in between plays or there's a commercial, I'm just flipping through all of them. I don't care. I'll watch Samford be beating up on Florida State.
Yes! Yes! And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Because that was fucking pathetic.
Well, they are terrible.
Yes.
Oh, coach can't make all that much difference when you have talent. You want to bet?
Yeah, apparently we were wrong, and Cam Akers looks like total shit.
Yeah, he's not looking good.
Yeah, so what I said when Gaz was on with us about, if he plays the way I think he can play, he could be better than Dalvin Cook. Don't listen to me.
Don't listen to me. That was wrong.
That was wrong.
I admit it.
Yeah, no, I was wrong. I even tried to put my money where my mouth is, and I drafted him in fantasy football. Fuck it, I'm dropping him.
I'm dropping him.
It's fucking useless.
I don't care.
Fucking...
You can't run on Samford. You're of no use to me.
Speaking of useless, here's a little bit of a I can't rant from Dan. Why the fuck is Juwan Johnson Penn State's #1 receiver? Motherfucker's caught 2 passes all season. He's terrible. He's terrible.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
He is awful. Just like Pitt. He should play for Pitt. Look, if you weren't a senior, man, I'd tell you just transfer your ass to Pitt now.
I'm just happy you're graduating.
I hope he does. I hope he graduates early.
Without that, they certainly put a beating on Pitt. Pitt looked worse than Appalachian State.
Pitt is worse than Appalachian State.
Pitt is worse than Appalachian State. And they're all in the state of Pennsylvania.
No, Appalachian State is in West Virginia, I think.
Oh, are they? Oh, that makes sense.
Or Tennessee.
Yeah,
they're Southern
Mountains.
Appalachians. Yeah.
Whatever.
Eh,
Nobody knows where they exist, just in the mountains.
yeah.
They're
Maybe they're
helpful.
Virginia. Or something.
It doesn't matter. They're
Yeah.
probably right in that area where the border is.
If they have sisters, they're all married.
Oh, gross.
That kind of thing. But,
Lost any fan base we would have there.
yep. Hartford Yard Goats.
Well, yeah, it's not like they're trying to make friends here.
No, that's not the MO of our podcast.
That's true. That's a good point.
The MO of our podcast is to constantly be trying to offend people.
No shortage there.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to get into college football? How do you want to go about this? Top 25?
Yeah, so what we're going to do first is we're going to go through the top 25, and we can do it one of 2 ways. I'll leave it up to you guys. But we can either go 1 through 25 or take them as ESPN has the games listed, which is usually in time order.
I don't care.
You don't care?
No. Whatever's easier. Whatever's on the actual
All right, so
sheet for you.
we'll go through it in chronological order because that's... Listen, I didn't
How
write
the
it.
day had 'em.
I didn't write any of it down. My notes on the screen say, look at ESPN for top 25 scores.
Yeah, then
It's,
pull it up however they have it.
all right.
They are the worldwide leader in sports, so who am I to judge them?
I mean, besides us.
Well, generous.
I mean, how many of those assholes picked Maryland to beat Texas last year?
Yeah, we
Probably
get
0.
it. You're still on that.
Probably none.
4 years from now, we're going to be hearing about this.
Yeah, when Maryland beats Texas again. All right, so first game. Number 16, Texas Christian University. After what seemed like a 23 and a half day wait because of the rain, SMU came out firing. They really did. Put forth a valiant effort. The old college try, as you might say.
Nice way of putting it.
Went up 10, I believe it was 10-0.
But didn't do much good.
I mean, that's great, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Just like every good porn star knows.
Well, yeah, and the Detroit Lions learned.
We'll talk about that, whatever it is. It was 12-0. TCU went up on... I'm sorry, SMU went up on TCU. But then it was all Horned Frogs from there because they lost 42-12.
Yep, so those 12 points were the reality shock that TCU needed, and TCU was like, wait a minute, we remember what we're doing here tonight.
I feel like they're just like, you know what? We'll let them have these 12 points because we have 6 starters taking a dump right now. We'll get them.
Yeah, don't worry, they'll be coming out here. We told them to rest it up a little bit. They're tired from the travel.
The travel, the whatever,
Just taking a nap.
getting back from their drug dealers late, whatever it was.
We're playing Flip Cup back there. They'll be out here in a second.
Flip Cup.